This is the video that answers the question, can there be a zombie virus? Zombies, those relentless, flesh-craving creatures, have captured our collective imaginations. They're everywhere, from books to movies to video games. But what about the idea of a zombie virus? Before we dive into that, let's quickly touch upon what a virus is. Essentially, it's a tiny infective agent that can only replicate inside the living cells of an organism, often causing disease. So if zombies are a product of our imagination, could there be a virus that turns people into zombies? When we think of zombies, we often picture a world overrun by the undead, brought about by some sort of virus. But where does this idea originate? It's rooted in the stories spun by creative minds of authors and filmmakers. Zombie fiction is rich and diverse, featuring a variety of narratives that explain the outbreak of the living dead. In these tales, the cause of a zombie apocalypse is often attributed to viruses, fungi, or even genetic mutations. These elements, while fantastical, bear a semblance of scientific truth. Viruses, for instance, are often portrayed as the catalyst for zombie outbreaks. These microscopic invaders, known to wreak havoc in the human body, are an easy and believable choice for the trigger of a zombie pandemic. But it's not just viruses. Some narratives introduce fungi, drawing inspiration from real-world species that can manipulate the behavior of their host organisms. In these stories, the fungi spores infect humans, leading to mind control and eventually transforming the victims into zombies. Then, there are those tales that delve into the realm of genetic mutations. Here, science goes awry, and an attempt to enhance or cure humanity leads to an unintended, terrifying consequence: the rise of the undead. All these narratives, while thrilling, are a stark reminder of the dichotomy between fiction and reality. They are grounded in scientific principles but stretched to the extreme for the sake of drama and suspense. After all, who doesn't love a good zombie story? Yet while we revel in these tales of horror and survival, a question lingers in the back of our mind. While these scenarios are thrilling on the big screen, could they happen in real life? The answer, as we'll see, is a bit more complicated than a simple yes or no. In reality, infections can have lasting and sometimes strange effects on human health. Let's take a closer look at some of these real-world infections and how they impact the human body. Fungal infections, for instance, are more common than you might think. These microscopic organisms can invade the body, causing a range of symptoms from mild discomfort to serious health problems. For example, a type of fungus called Cryptococcus can cause meningitis, an infection of the membrane surrounding the brain and spinal cord. This can result in symptoms such as confusion, hallucinations, and other changes in behavior. Now let's talk about retroviruses. These are a group of viruses that can integrate into the host cell's DNA and cause long-term illness. HIV is a well-known example of a retrovirus. Once inside the body, retroviruses can stay dormant for long periods before becoming active and causing disease. The way they infiltrate and alter our cells can be likened to how a zombie virus might operate in fiction, taking over the host's body and altering it from within. There are also infections that can cause tissue decay, reminiscent of the gruesome physical deterioration we often see in zombie lore. Necrotizing fasciitis, often referred to as flesh-eating disease, is one such infection. It's caused by bacteria that can destroy skin, fat, and the tissue covering the muscles in a very short amount of time. Although extremely rare, it's a chilling reminder of the destructive power of infections. Then we have infections that affect the brain, like meningitis and encephalitis. These can lead to severe neurological symptoms, including personality changes, impaired judgment, or lack of emotional control. In severe cases, they can even induce a coma. While these symptoms are a far cry from the mindless, shambling state of zombies, there are parallels to be drawn in the way these infections can change a person's behavior and mental state. These infections may not turn us into the walking dead, but they do remind us of some aspects of zombie behavior. Viruses don't just affect our physical health, they can also change our behavior. This may sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but it's a scientific fact. Let's talk about a virus that we're all familiar with: rabies. This virus, primarily transmitted through the bite of an infected animal, has a profound effect on the behavior of its host. Once the rabies virus enters the body, it travels along the nerves to the brain. It's here that the virus can cause severe inflammation, leading to a range of symptoms. Some of these symptoms might seem eerily familiar if you're a fan of zombie movies. Individuals infected with rabies often display aggression, confusion, and bizarre behavior. They might also experience hallucinations or become overly excited. These behavioral changes are due to the virus's impact on the brain, which affects the individual's ability to think clearly and regulate their emotions. But here's where the zombie comparison comes into play. In some cases, those infected with rabies might also exhibit a fear of water, known as hydrophobia, and have difficulty swallowing. This might bring to mind the image of a zombie, with their slack-jawed, drooling appearance. However, it's essential to remember that while rabies can cause severe and life-threatening symptoms, it does not turn people into zombies. Rabies is a deadly infection if left untreated, but with prompt medical attention, it can often be successfully managed. In the grand scheme of things, the behavioral changes that viruses like rabies can induce are a testament to the profound impact that infections can have on our bodies and minds. They remind us of the importance of preventive measures, like vaccinations, to keep these viruses at bay. While these viruses can drastically change behavior, they still don't turn us into zombies. So, while the idea of a zombie apocalypse might make for a thrilling blockbuster, in the real world, it remains firmly in the realm of fiction. So, can there be a real zombie virus? That's the thrilling question we embarked on answering today. In our quest, we ventured into the world of zombies and viruses, both real and imagined. We delved into the captivating realm of fiction, where zombie outbreaks rule the narratives, often attributed to a myriad of causes like viruses, fungi, and genetic mutations. These stories have enthralled us, left us on the edge of our seats, and even sparked off a few nightmares. Then, we took a step back into the real world, where infections and viruses exist that can indeed have dramatic effects on the human body. We talked about real-world infections like meningitis, encephalitis, and necrotizing fasciitis, which can impact brain function and tissue decay, eerily echoing some aspects of zombie lore. We also explored viruses like rabies, known to cause behavioral changes and fatal infections if left untreated. This glimpse into reality does seem to mirror some of the exaggerated effects seen in zombie narratives. But let's be clear, while these infections and viruses can cause severe health issues, none of them can turn people into zombies as depicted in fiction. The walking dead, the decaying, mindless creatures hungry for brains, well, they belong in the realm of movies and novels, not in our everyday reality. So, in answering our initial question, while there are infections and viruses that can drastically change human behavior and health, a zombie-creating virus remains purely the stuff of imaginative fiction. This has been a journey into the question, can there be a zombie virus? Remember, zombies belong in the realm of fiction, not reality. But who knows what the future holds? Until then, stay curious and keep asking questions.